Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. Frank here. We're working on the 4-foot rotary cutter build. Started a couple weeks ago. This is for my 50-year-old Cub Cadet, a model 128 from 1972 with a rear PTO. Past several episodes we built a hydraulic category 1 3-point hitch for that tractor so it would handle a bush hog. Proper size bush hog, 4 feet. And past 2 or 3 episodes, we built most of the bush hog. We've got the frame, the top frame, the tail wheel, the 3-point hitch. That's all assembled, welded together. We're going to bolt on the gearbox, flip the whole thing over, add the blade assembly, take some measurements, and finish building the rest of the bush hog. So stick around. This could get sketchy. Let's turn it around so it faces the 3-point hitch. How about that? I just make myself a little reminder there to add oil before I run it. Get some bolts. All these bolts are too long. I'll either come back and replace them or cut them off. I need to get safety nuts is what I need to get, so I think that's what I'll wind up doing, is coming back with nylock nuts for all of these bolts. There's Butchie. Where's Brew Brew? Come here. Where's Brew Brew? Huh? You're all wet. Come here. You're all wet. You're all wet. All right. We'll see what happens when Brew Brew comes in. Where is he? Huh? Where is Brew Brew? Where is Brew Brew? Huh? Okay. Good boy. There's my Brew Brew and there's my Butchie. Come here, Brew Brew. You get dried off too. Sometimes I think these guys get wet just for this treatment. What's that? Piece of tape. Okay, good boys. Good puppies. Yeah. All right. go straight outside again. They do like to get rubbed with a towel. So what are you doing, Brew Brew? Huh? Yeah, all right. Good boy. All right, I'm going to tighten up a couple of the bolts on here. I got those two tight, and we'll get the others when we flip it over. These are the bolts for the blades. This is the castle nut, cotter pin, big washer, two blades. And this is the stump jumper, the hub. All right. All right, that's a perfect fit. The hub is splined, and it's a standard spline. All right, this works out fine. I can get through here to the bolts that bolt the gearbox on. All right, so these are the other parts. Got the washer, castle nut. I had a castle nut, but I didn't have this washer. All right. I'm not going to put the cotter pin in at this point. What I want to do now is fit the blades. All right, so this is an assembly for a 48-inch bush hog. And because of the limitations of the material I had, this is 48 inches. So if I were to put a panel here, I have a half an inch of space there, maybe half an inch here, half an inch there. So I think what I want to do is, see, these blades are going to are free to pivot. I think I want to cut like half an inch off the ends, off the end of these blades. Yeah, that's 5 inches. All right, so I need 6-inch sides all the way around. And I need to cut an inch off each blade. All right, so instead of 48 inch, my actual cut width will be 46 inches. All right, so the difference in tip speed between the 48 and the 46 inch diameter will be about 500 feet per minute. The tip speed at 540 PTO RPM with this gearbox and a 4-foot diameter is like 11,500 feet per minute. So if you reduce that by 5%, which is 46 is basically 5% less than 48, then you get about 500 feet per minute less. So 11,500 versus 11,000. So that's not a huge difference. 95% of the specified speed I think will be fine. Okay, so 6-inch sides, and we need to cut the blades by 1 inch. So the bolts have a key on them, and they go into a keyway on this arm, and use a washer. And these bolts, these are lock nuts. They're supposed to be torqued to 450 foot-pounds. I don't have sockets big enough for this. Going to need to figure out a way to torque it to the proper dimension. This is this pan has been dropped. It's bent here. That's funny. Huh. I didn't do that. But it's been dropped. It's flattened out right here. All right, I need to figure out how to grab a hold of this in order to tighten these bolts. And I'll need to get an extension for my wrench in order to get 450 foot-pounds of torque. All right, so I'm going to give this a shot. I've got 2 large bolts going down into the vise on the bench, so that'll keep it from spinning. Need to get something to increase my leverage on this. All right, I think that's as tight as that wrench will make it. I'm going to say I got pretty close to 400 foot-pounds. I mean, this is over 4 feet long, 5 feet long, 80 pounds at the end of that would be 400 foot-pounds. So I think I achieved the required torque. All right, this hub is a tapered spline, and it would never come apart if it rusts together. So think a little bit of anti-seize is called for here. See if I can keep that from getting that all over me. So I need an 1.5" socket for this. The largest I have is 1.25". So I need to go get an 1.5" socket. I'll do that. Meanwhile, let's work on the sides of the bush hog here. The high point is, this blade is about 5.5 inches. So I need to make my sides, just about 5 inches, 5.25". So I'm going to make my sides 7 inches tall. So let's take some measurements for the side panels. 34 5/8 there. 34.5 there. 20 inches there, and 20 inches there. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do about the front. Most of the time those are just left open, but it does result in debris being kicked forward. I've seen a rubber belt across them, or a series of chains hanging down. But I don't know what I'm going to do yet on that. Okay, we'll cut out the pieces for the rest of the perimeter. So this is a grizzly 9742 metal cutting bandsaw, and the advantage of it is it miters. The whole cutting head angles, the vise stays straight, so you can miter stock without having to have stock going off at an angle. And in a confined shop where I really don't have room for my long stock to go off at a 45-degree angle in here, this works great. I did a review of this saw a couple of years ago when I first got it. I wasn't thrilled with it, but part of that was due to the crappy blades that were provided with it. I've since upgraded to Lennox bimetal blades, and they're wonderful. They last, I'll put a blade on here, it might last a year. It's tremendous. They're excellent blades. So my opinion of the saw is a little bit better than it was initially, because I think part of the poor performance before was due to crummy blades. Though, I mean, it is inexpensive from the standpoint of construction. The fit and finish is just okay, but the fact that it miters is a big bonus. It's probably the least expensive mitering bandsaw of its size on the market. I haven't seen any others. It was $800, $900, something like that. Don't know what it is today. The off switch is so finicky. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's almost more trouble than it's worth. Sometimes it turns off before the cut's finished. Other times it doesn't turn off at all. You can't adjust it accurately. It's just too sensitive. So I don't even try to use it. It's not consistent enough to justify trying to use. But otherwise, the saw is decent. It works okay. The mitering function is the best part of it, I have to say. So if you need to miter metal and you don't have room to angle a 10-foot piece or even 20-foot piece at an angle across your shop, then a saw like this is a good idea. And the plan is to have these angle, the one by one angle, going around the underside of the bush hog to support the side panels. So I'm going to tack these in place, then we'll tack the side panels on, start welding this up. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode. Got a lot accomplished here. The inside of the bush hog all welded up, the sides welded around. Finally got my 1.5-inch socket. Had to use a 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch adapter, but got the center bolt on the gearbox tightened down, the cotter pin in. So the underside of this bush hog is buttoned up. I mean, I think the only thing left is a coat of paint. And I'll put some rust inhibiting primer on that. We'll come back next time, flip this thing over, finish welding the seams along the top edge, take care of any other loose ends on the top. I think we've got some lock nuts to put on, and then it's hooking it up to the tractor. So we'll work on that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think, how it's going, and we'll see you guys next week.